good, the bad, and the odd. They do go on.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd. We're your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Right, just a little note. We're having a bit of a change up. We've decided we're going to go back to doing specific comfy chair episodes because it feels like we only do a few things and we don't give them that much time. I feel like when we used to have the old comfy chairs, we talked way more about stuff and it was kind of more fun, I think. And it's less pressure to do several things at once. So we've decided to go back to that. So sometime soon, it might be the next episode. Don't know. We haven't decided yet. We'll be doing a full comfy chair, roughly once a month. It might be quite once a month. It'll be like more like every 5 weeks. But you get the idea. It'll be one of those. Anyway, today is my choice. Was my free choice, and it is the just come out on Disney Plus and various other streaming places, depending on where you are in the world. Predator: Killer of Killers. I didn't even know this was coming. Did you?
Yeah,
Oh, you did.
I heard talk about it. I saw the trailer, yeah. Though I'd heard
Okay.
it was a series instead of an anthology film.
Okay, maybe they decided to. Mind you, no, it all ties together. So it's clearly built as a film,
Yeah.
isn't it? Um, yeah, okay. I had heard rumors that the next Predator film was going to involve Vikings
Mhm.
and samurai. So, those rumors were kind of true. We're gonna do spoilers from the out. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Is that all right? So, it was. Let's just talk about without spoilers. What did you think of it?
It was very fun. With
Yeah,
anthology, you've gone through different time eras, really,
and
different locations, and like we got a nice sort of swathe of different things, really.
yeah, and we learned a bit more about the Predator Society as well, right? And there were
Yeah.
there were nods to the films throughout as well, Easter eggs to
Yeah.
various films. Now apparently this is the eighth Predator film, and I was trying to think. So there's one, two, Predators, three,
Yeah.
Predator, the two
The
Predator versus
Predator.
Aliens, which is five, the Predator six, Prey
Right.
seven.
Seven.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
quite right. Yep. Okay. The weakest of those is probably Alien versus Predator 2. That was awful. But The
Yeah.
Predator is such a weird film. I've watched it twice, and both times, like the next day, I couldn't remember a thing about it. And twice now I've tried to watch it, thinking I was maybe tired the first time, but no,
Mm.
it's so unmemorable. There's something weirdly unmemorable about it.
Yeah, I remember hearing like a weird summary of it that's basically the predators hunt in order to like steal the genetics of potentially superior specimens. It's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
That's weird.
What's your favorite Predator? I'm gonna say guess number one.
Yeah, one followed by Prey and then Alien versus Predator.
Mine is close, but not quite that. It's one followed by Prey. I actually really like Predator 2, so I'm gonna say
Yeah.
Predator 2. Then Alien versus Predator, and then it's probably Predators. Which actually, Predators is probably got the most influence on the fourth section of this one, right? It's kind of similar in many ways.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get
Not
into
seen it,
sections.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay. It's worth a watch. It's worth a watch. It's way better than say the Predator. I like it, but they kind of flubbed it. I like the ideas, but they kind of flubbed it a little. Topher
Mm,
Grace is in it,
mm.
and he can be a bit Marmite, can't he?
Yeah.
Okay. So it opens with this statement, which having worked it out afterwards,
Yeah.
it's kind of like the Predator Book of Bushido, where the
Yeah.
warrior kind of stuff in it. It's kind of like that because I was trying to figure out what's that, and then you work it out.
Yeah.
Basically, it's go forth among the stars and seek only the strongest prey. They shall be your trophy. Become the killer of killers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so the first one, I mean, this is all animated, all in the
Yeah.
same style of animation. It's a
Yeah.
coherent one studio thing. Directed by Dan Trachtenberg, intended to come out before the next Predator film, which he's also making, which is called Predator Badlands.
Yeah. There is a
Uh,
trailer out for that already. Yeah.
okay, I might give it a watch. But the premise sounds a bit janky. If it wasn't someone who made Prey, I'd be worried. But the
Yeah.
fact is, it's the guy that made Prey, and it's the guy that made this film. So I'm
Yeah.
not worried, right? so, so we'll see.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's out in this country and internationally on Disney Plus, and in America it's out on Hulu. And
Mm.
it received quite good reviews about both the animation, direction, music, everything really, voice
Yeah.
cast, everything. The first one, The Shield. This is set in among Vikings. It's in Scandinavia
Yeah.
somewhere.
It's a Scandinavian Viking warrior queen
Yeah, who
who's
is on a
trying to lead.
revenge
Yeah.
trail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, set in 841, and there's basically Vikings on a boat going towards this person she wants to get revenge, and we
Yeah.
do actually find out the revenge is on an older warrior chief who basically
Forced her to kill her
attacked his
father.
tribe and forced her to kill her father when she was a mere girl, right? But the Marva wants her to do it so she can live on and avenge him. Um, so yeah, and she is a badass. Um,
Yes, she is.
she,
She takes on basically everyone pretty
yeah,
much single-handedly.
the plan is, I like the plan. The plan, I will run at them, right? And basically,
Yeah.
she storms the castle alone, and she's got a really the actual story is called The Shield. I don't know if I said that, but she's got a really interesting sort of weapon and way of fighting, using basically two shields that are basically razor edged, right?
Mm.
Like they're blades at the edge of the shield, and she uses it to gra- extremely violent effect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Really good
it's quite
sequence.
visceral. Yeah.
Her just storming the castle alone, pretty much, is quite
Yeah.
amazing. And she's got a young son who who's after his first kill, basically, and they do find a prisoner, and she's waiting for him to kill him. But the man says to the boy, "If you kill an unknown prisoner, you will not get into Valhalla. I will
Mm.
meet you in hell or somewhere like that, something like that."
Mm.
But he doesn't kill him in the end. Another warrior. Well, is it Ursa cuts off his legs? Someone cuts off his legs and then slaughters it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah. They've got this guy dead to rights in his castle. It's Ursa's sort of main team and her son is
yeah.
also there. If I remember correctly, she like invites her son to kill him, but then he backs off,
Well,
and
no, no.
then the guy's head explodes.
Well, before that, she's saying, "I've come to revenge my," and he's going, "Who?" And he says, "Oh yeah, I remember you as a little girl. Your bitterness, your quest for revenge, made you ugly, or something like that."
Yeah.
It's basically dissing her as about she's about to kill him. And it's weird. This bit, I don't know why, it reminded me of that bit in oh, what's it called? Is it Mortal Kombat or the other one? The one with Raul Julia, where it says, "I destroyed your fort."
Street Fighter, yes.
Yeah, that's it.
For me,
Street
it
Fighter.
was Tuesday.
For
Yeah.
me, it was a Tuesday. It's kind of like that. Anyway, she's dissing him and he's about to kill her, but basically he's headed for her. There is a predator, and he is massive.
Yes, huge.
He's like the Hulk, right?
Like he puts the one Arnie beat to shame. Like the
Yes.
one Arnie beat may well have been a toddler. So
Yeah, the only Predator I can I've read some of the extended universe of Predator, right? The only Predator I can think that was oh no, sorry, I'm thinking of Alien. Forget that. Scratch that. Ignore
well, if
that.
it's the extended universe, it might well be both. So it
Yes,
could easily be
indeed.
the Pred Alien. So
Yeah, and indeed, I've. Sorry, I was going to talk about Borderlands, but that might be a spoiler for me, so I'm not going to mention that. Essentially, in seeking her revenge, this guy's head explodes, and they have to fight this alien, who she calls Grendel, doesn't she? She calls
yes,
Grendel King, or something like
yeah,
that.
that I quite liked. Just
Yes,
immediately putting an association to them.
yeah,
Because all the predators do have names in terms of scripting. Like I think
yeah.
the one in the original is called the Big One, for example, and there's like Wolf, Scar, all these others.
Yes, yes, they do. So yeah, it's basically there's a massive fight involving the other warriors who basically die really quickly to the
Oh yeah,
predator. But basically, Ursa's trying to fight him, and She at one point he uses this weird device which creates a sonic boom and pushes her out of the building pretty much. But she falls onto ice and goes under the ice in the water. And at that point, the predator can't see her, right, because of the heat vision.
Yeah.
He can't actually see her. But then she kind of figures out she could break the ice and bring him under and all this kind of stuff. But there is a massive fight. She manages to kill him, but Anders is her son, Anders.
Was killed in the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Anders does kill the Zoltan. He cuts his head off. I'd forgotten that. He cuts his head off. But then Anders, who is kind of makes a certain offer towards her at one point. No, sorry, I got that confused with something else. Basically,
Where you go with that? I don't remember that at all.
no, sorry, I got it confused with the second story. My mistake. Anders just kind of dies. So it's
Yeah.
interesting how much tragedy interweaves in these stories. In fact, actually, so she is sort of, and then she kind of basically a fade into another scene where she's sitting in despair, but then we see her fade in the same position, but with a collar, a predator collar around her neck, sitting in a cell or something. Basically, you can tell she has been gathered by the predators.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so that was the first one. Really solid, really solid. This is a short film. I'd say 90 minutes. Covers 4 stories, so it's right, and they're roughly
Bust
20
out
odd
about.
minutes of story. There's not a particularly short or long one, are they? They're all about the same length, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one is the sword. So the first one was the shield. This is the sword, and this is set in sort of 17th century Japan, where we see 2 young brothers, and their father watching over them, who's basically has to decide who is going to be his heir, and he wants them to duel. But one refuses to fight his brother, just what doesn't want to, but the other one attacks him and scars his face, puts a scar there, and he just runs away. He doesn't want to fight his brother. Basically, he refuses to fight his brother. He can't see the reason for it. But then, like 20 years later, we see that the brother has become the warlord. The father's died, but Kenji, the other
This
brother,
character, yeah.
is basically become a ninja.
Well, there's no basically about it. He's
a ninja.
cloaked in black. He's a ninja.
He is a ninja,
and it's
so this is a really interesting one because it's basically a ninja versus samurai story, right? Which is always cool, very cool. Because like samurais have got the sword skills, but ninjas got so many tricks up their sleeve and weaponry, and ways of fighting. So Ken, for some reason, he takes it on. He wants to confront his brother, and you think he wants to kill him, but it isn't quite like that. Anyway, we also get a note that we see a predator at a high point watching out, a bit like them shots of Batman from the comics and the movie.
Yeah, the Predator is actually in quite a few sequences of this where he's not actually.
Yeah, it's just watching.
He's just like in the corner, or you'll be able to see like smoke get moved
Yes,
when the Predator moving around.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, little bits, or so the environment doesn't act right.
Well, you'll see the
eventually.
shimmer.
Yes.
So.
So basically, he breaks in, and he's a ninja, so he's breaking in. But he stops a guard ringing a bell, but another guard does manage to ring a bell, so they're kind of alerted. So they have a big duel with various weapons and so on.
Admittedly, this is mostly just one protracted fight.
Oh, the whole.
Which is why I didn't really like this one as much as the other 2.
The other ones had a bit of a story, right? This
one was just like these 2 are going to fight, and then they fight, and then the Predator gets involved.
Yeah, but the thing is, the fight's not what you think it is. I quite like that. The fact is, it appears he's going to kill his brother, but when he actually overpowers his brother, all he does is put a little scar on his face like his own one, and he puts his sword away, right? But then his brother's still angry, and they're still fighting. They fall into a moat. At that point, the Predator appears, right?
Yeah.
So then they start working together, and they realize they have to fight together to try and beat this Predator. And there's some cool stuff. There's like, there's samurai and ninja tricks used to fight this predator. Exploding red bombs, things like that, right? And I did like there was one point they were looking for the predator. They were just standing still, and then we see a leaf fall, but the leaf just stops midair, i.e., falling on the predator, right? So they both rush it. But they managed to do it together. But the brother, who's the warlord, dies of his injuries. And it's that gesture I was talking. There was a gesture with a sword just after he scars his brother. That's the one I was thinking of, right? Because it does play later on. It does play into things later on. So that's the second story. Then again, we see him despairing because his brother's died, and then it fades to him in the cell with Ursa with the neck thing on. Yeah. So, I mean, the animation's really good in this. I really liked it. And I liked the voice work. It was really interesting. They went into English with the sword, but with the shield, but they didn't in the sword, did they?
No,
I got that wrong.
No, it was translated Japanese or subtitles.
Yeah, but there was very little dialogue. It was
there was maybe like 2-3 lines of dialogue.
Yeah, there was very little dialogue, right? Just enough to give you some context. So the third one was called The Bullet. This one I didn't like so much when I watched it, but then the way it tied into the final one, I appreciated it much more by the end. Let's put it that way. Really, because the first two were about fighting skills.
Yeah.
And this one was about intelligence, right?
Yeah.
And thinking, fast thinking and trying to work out what to do. And I kind of think, I missed the fighting, if you know what I mean. But I quite liked it. This one was called The Bullet. We see a young man called Torres drafted into the Navy as, I don't know, he looked like he was a mechanic to me, but...
Yeah, I think they specifically say that he got drafted as a pilot.
Yeah. But they were treating him like a mechanic or something. But he had this old plane that he was this Wildcat. But his captain kind of likes him, but wants him to stay grounded, right?
Yeah.
This was a weird one because it was the US battleship, but it was set in North Africa, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was any American battleships or was not aircraft carriers in the Med. But maybe I don't know. It just seemed odd. I thought they were all in the Pacific, right? I thought all that sort of stuff was in the. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They basically they fight. All the pilots go up, but then some weird ship appears and starts taking them out. Torres never got off the ground because of a malfunction, and he realizes it's a bigger ship attacking both sides, and he basically gets up in the air and is barely functioning Wildcat. Basically, he's had to do things like attach a spanner to the controls because the controls broken off, things like that. And basically, he flies up knowing that there's something weird going on, and he tries to warn him. He finds Captain Vardy, doesn't he? And warns him, "We've got to get out of here," but it's all too late. The pilot, basically, this is a duck shoot. It's not really hunting, is it? This is another reason it didn't feel quite an authentic Predator film. It was basically going in the air and easily outgunning anything in the air with superior tech. It seemed a bit goofy for a Predator, but yeah. Anyway, it's kind of cool to watch though, and I like basically it annihilates everything except Torres and the captain Vandy, right? Vandy.
Did you recognise Vandy's voice, by the way?
It sounded a bit like Michael Rooker, but I didn't. Who was it?
It was Michael Bain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice choice.
Which now, given what happens to his character, inducts him into one of the few people that's been killed by an alien, a predator, and a Terminator.
That's true. Yeah. Wow.
It's like him and Lance Henriksen. I think another person. I can't remember who it is, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I thought it was Michael Rooker. It sounded a bit like Michael Rooker, but not so much. But yeah, I can kind of see it now. Basically, Vandy then gets taken out, but Torres, I didn't quite understand what's going on here. He basically outflies
But they figure out that because
it's a heat.
Yeah. It's the same as the standard Predator fare. They're tracked in by heat. So firstly, they fly up so that they're engine temperatures go way down, and then they turn their planes off and just sort
Yeah.
of glide
Yeah,
for a
he
while.
deliberately flooded the engine because he kept talking about flooding the engine.
Yeah, at the end, he flooded the engine so that it would be a bomb.
Yeah, so when the Predator, because it had this trick thing where it fired like this missile that honed in on the engines and then pulled them out,
Yeah.
right? Basically.
So when it pulled out the engine, it pulled the engine back to the ship and then hit it with a
Yeah.
bomb. With a bomb. So
Yeah, so basically he destroys the Predator by outsmarting it, basically, in
yeah,
real time, thinking out a way of getting back at it and working out how it's doing this and working out how to deal with it. He's a clever guy, basically, right? Um, and we then get a shot of him back at his garage. Presumably the war's over. He's back at his garage. He's just looking at the stars. And then again, it cuts to him with a neck brace on in the cell with the other three. Um, and this is where it all joins up. So basically, these predators are able to preserve people across time, right?
yeah, they like not so much freeze them, they put them in stasis.
Stasis, so that they can be delivered all at once. So these people from three different time periods are brought to the
All
predator.
separated by
Either the predator
300
homeworld
miles.
or a predator planet, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. If this is the homeworld, this is the first time that the homeworld's been seen.
Yeah, because Predators is set on an alien planet, but they don't think it's the home world. It's just
Yeah.
a planet they use for their hunting grounds, right?
Yeah.
It's basically they're brought into an arena. It's basically Gladiator, right?
Mm.
Kind of thing. And they're all basically the warlord. And there's this particular
Yeah.
word they use about the Predators in this write-up.
At this point, it's the
and
Grendel King.
Yacha, which is also
Yautja. Yeah,
Yacha.
that's their like species name.
Great.
So
Yeah, okay. So they come up in this arena, and there's this massive warlord with all these accoutrements.
yeah.
Um,
I like
who
his
are
cape made of spines.
spines. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Ursa calls him Grendel, doesn't she?
Yeah, she calls him Grendel King. Yeah.
Basically, he says something like, "You must all
He gives
fight to
them
the death."
armament, and he's like,
From
"You
they're appropriate
all
for their
fight."
tribe. For their
Yeah.
tribe, he says. For their tribe.
Yeah, he's like all you'll fight till there is one, and that one I will fight that one.
Yeah.
And it's like
Basically,
this.
yeah, that sounds rough. So basically, Ursa gets a shield of her, the
No,
one.
she gets a bill axe.
Oh yeah, she
She gets
does.
an
You're
axe.
right.
Kenji gets a katana, and poor Torres gets a flintlock pistol,
So,
which is the
which
same again pistol that keeps popping up.
yeah, it was in Predator 2, right?
It's
It
in
was
Predator 2. Gets given to I can't remember his name in that at the end of that film, but it was also in Prey, and Naru walked away with it.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
not there, right?
yeah,
But he basically Kenji doesn't refuses to fight. He does not want to fight. This is what it's about with his brother. Ursa's all about wanting to kill him, right?
yeah. She was
Torres is trying to say we've got to work together. There's no way, but they all speak different languages, so they
yeah.
don't.
Torres, they demonstrate Torres knows a tiny bit of Japanese,
Yeah,
basically enough to say that he is a fish.
yeah,
To Kenji,
yeah,
who basically goes, "Oh, you're an idiot," and
yeah,
kind of carries on. But
yeah.
eventually, they do keep fighting, and eventually, the predators kind of get bored of them just fighting and
Yeah.
cut loose a rancor. So
Yeah, it's a rancor scene. There is a bit just before when they were first brought out into the arena where an imprisoned predator is brought out in front of the Grendel King, or let's call him for some want of a better. And we see him press a button on his arm, and the guy's head explode. At that
yeah,
point, Torres is like, "Oh, it's got a device to make our heads explode," and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah. They bring out the big beast who immediately eats one of the guards.
Mm.
Uh, but at that point, just before that happens, Ursa's trying to attack both of them, whereas Kenji is kind of defending Torres and fighting her and sort of saying, "I'm not going to fight you." But she doesn't. She keeps attacking. In the end, he lays his sword down, and she goes mental because she's like, "I have to die in battle,"
Yeah.
you know.
She won't get to Valhalla.
So she can't fight an unarmed man. That will stop her getting into Valhalla. That was established. But also, we see how Torres's gestures affect both Kenji because it reminds him of his what he did with his brother, and also how Ursa's son Anders reacted to her. Kind of reminds him, So these memories of these battles kind of affect how it plays out, and they realize Torres. They may have to work together. However, Torres gets swallowed whole by the Rancor.
This creature, yeah.
So he's crawling for its guts. He's going, and does he find an arm of a guard?
He finds the arm of the guard that got eaten. So he like grabs that, and
he's got the controls.
Ursa and Kenji fight this monster and cut open its stomach, and he this kills the creature. Another predator on a weird little...
Because they're stabbing it from the inside, right, as well. Yeah.
So a weird little bulldozer predator kind of comes out and pushes the...
It had like a spaceship with a cowcatcher on the front. Well, not a spaceship, but a hover thing with a cowcatcher on the front. Just pushed it down a hole, right?
Yeah.
Torres is going, I'm still in it, guys. I'm still in it. And all this. But he manages to crawl out, and he's got a device which unlocks the neck braces. Yeah. Which then tells Ursa who they have to work together, and they kind of realise they've got to work together. At that point, and he says, if we can get up to there, we can fly out of him. I can figure out how to fly, and we can fly out of it. The Grendel jumps in then, right, and starts fighting both of them.
They ride their bike up to it, so they're like, we'll just go past him.
That's right.
He throws his axe and completely takes out the bike thing that they're on.
Yeah. And they're trying to get to the craft that Torres gets there and kind of works out how to fly it.
Yeah. While Kenji and Ursa are fighting the Grendel King.
Yeah, that bit reminded me a bit of, I don't know, you may not have seen it, the reboot in Battlestar Galactica. Starbuck has to work out how to fly a Cylon ship. Just working out. And it's also, there's a bit of a scene like that in Independence Day, right? Where Will Smith has to figure out the controls. So it's kind of nods that way. So essentially, he's got the ship, and they start. They basically jump on and manage to get away. It appears, but then a gigantic chain spear gets fired. They love their things on chains, don't they, Predators?
Yeah.
Get fired into the back of the ship, and then he's holding the ship in place while they're trying to get away. Yeah. Ursa looks at Torres like he's her son. She sees his son, and she says to him, "Do not avenge me."
Yeah.
Because it's kind of wrecked her life, this quest, right?
He gets her full character arc, but it's incredibly funny because he cannot understand a word she's saying. So he does not know what she said at all.
No. But it means something to her. And she's managed to get a shield kind of thing, and she uses that to basically slide down the chain.
Zip line down the chain.
And smash it into the controls, which releases it, and then it flies off. At which point, doesn't Grendel kill her? Or
no, they grab her, and she's like, well, everyone's gotten away, basically. And the Grendel King just kind of turns around and goes, the hunt begins anew, and or you see all the ships taking off to go after him.
So Torres and Kenji have flown off, but dozens of ships are chasing him, and we see the Grendel King posing at the top of the hill, or whatever it is, holding the sword in his, holding a battle axe thing up, and then it crash ending, and we get some nice graphics. Music of Vikings and
so that's one extra bit. We see Ursa.
There is one bit
into a freezer.
Stasis, bit like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? They're basically a place full of these freezing chambers, and they just You want to tell everyone?
And they do a slow zoom on one of them, and it shows Naru from Prey.
So Naru has been caught. So they somehow know.
Between there.
Anyone who takes
Predator.
out a Predator gets. So I bet Danny
Which
Glover's
implies,
character
yeah, Danny
will be
Glover,
frozen somewhere.
Dutch,
Dutch, yes, indeed. They're all
Yeah.
there. They're all there, maybe. Which is setting an interesting precedent, right? You
Yeah.
never know what that might bring up, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was it. 4 parts, all about 20 minutes. Very solid. Very solid, right? Very quite enjoyable.
Very fun.
You enjoy it. You're going to rewatch it sometime.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely in the cycle of rewatches. There's some I'll rewatch a fair bit. Predator, obviously, Predator 2, and Prey, and Alien versus Predator. I tend to watch those reasonably.
Yeah, they're the rewatchable ones.
Yeah, and Killer of Killers is definitely in that list now. And I sometimes watch Predators as well. I've got the trilogy box set somewhere. And I've got the Alien vs Predator box set. It was cheaper to buy both of them than just so. But I've got no desire to watch Alien vs Predator 2 ever again. It's so awful. But yes, really, really solid film. Trachtenberg apparently is in line to do a trilogy. Now, I don't know if that means this and Borderlands or if this is
Badlands.
Sorry, Badlands. Why do I keep
Yeah.
calling it Borderlands? Badlands. So I don't know if this is the second in the trilogy or if this is just an extra and there's going to be another one. It's really nice to know that this is in good hands. It's a bit like Alien Romulus, right? It was Aliens back into good hands, not into the cack that was coming before, Covenant and all that. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to
Badlands stuff looks kind of good because it's actually about the Predator. One of the Predators is a focus character.
It's kind of I don't want to reveal too much, but a Predator is a main character. It's kind of interesting how they're going to do that, but I have confidence it'll deliver. Prey just came out of nowhere and it's just brilliant, right? So yeah, and Romulus kind of similar. So yeah, very, very solid. Any final thoughts before we score?
No, highly recommend you just go out and go and watch it.
Yeah, there's nothing really weak about it, right? It just the music, the look, the feel, the voice acting, it just feels solid. I don't know why. I was wondering before I watched it if it was going to be a bit like the Animatrix, which each episode, each story having different styles, but no, it's all the same style, and it works because it builds. The fact that Story 4 is based on the first 3, and you see stuff happen in the first 3 that insert themselves into the story of 4 and make it more meaningful is a really nice way it interacts, I think. Okay, what would you score this?
I'd give this about an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give it 4 out of 5. Same as you. But I can only ever see it going up. I don't think on rewatch it'll feel worse. I don't think it probably stayed the same though. Having said that, it's kind of does what it says on the tin in many respects. But there are some real nice nuances, but they're all pretty obvious. You kind of see them as they happen. There are other Easter eggs in here about the Predator franchise we haven't really talked about. They're just little things, you blink and miss kind of things, and you don't need to have seen any of the others to enjoy this anyway. But it's Predator, so it's worth watching. Whatever, right? So, okay, we'll wind it up there. So, next time we might be doing a comfy chair, we might not. We'll stick to our usual, but we'll be doing a comfy chair real soon. Okay, bye from me.
Bye.